I taught my cat to use a button board as a joke, and it exposed my babysitter. About 8 months ago, my wife Danielle showed me this video of a cat pressing buttons that said things like hungry and play. I laughed and said, our cat could absolutely do that. Danielle said, our cat can barely find the litter box. She wasn't wrong. Our cat, Pimento, is a 5-year-old orange tabby who walks into walls, falls off counters at least twice a week, and once got his head stuck in a cereal box for 20 minutes. But he's weirdly smart about certain things. He knows exactly when it's 6 p.m. feeding time. He sits on my laptop when he wants attention. He knocks specific cups off the counter when his water bowl is empty, always the blue one. I ordered a starter set of 4 buttons. $25 on Amazon. Danielle said it was going to end up next to the bread machine and the guitar I played for 1 week. She was probably right, but I committed anyway. Started simple. Food button near his bowl. Took him 2 weeks, which is apparently slow for dogs, but decent for a cat. Added water near his dish, then play near his toy basket. Then no, because he kept biting my ankles, and I thought maybe he was trying to communicate displeasure. That one he learned in 3 days. Cats understand no. They just choose to ignore it most of the time. By month 6, Pimento had 8 buttons. Food, water, play, no, mad, want, loud, and scared. He mostly used food and mad. He hit mad a lot. I think he was just being dramatic, but Danielle said it was probably accurate. Our daughter Corinne is 4. She's been staying with a babysitter named Alyssa 3 afternoons a week, while Danielle and I work. Alyssa was 22, came recommended by a neighbor. Seemed great. Corinne never complained about her. When I'd come home, the house was clean, Corinne was fed, and everything looked fine. But here's what started happening. On the days Alyssa babysat, I'd come home and check the button board log on my phone. The buttons have a connected app that timestamps every press. On most days, Pimento pressed food a couple times. Maybe water, maybe play. Normal. On Alyssa days, the log looked different. Pimento was pressing scared and loud repeatedly. Sometimes 6 or 7 times in an afternoon. And mad. Lots of mad. At first, I figured Corinne was chasing him or being rough. She's 4. Kids are loud. Cats are dramatic. I didn't think much of it. Then one afternoon, I came home early. Alyssa didn't hear me come in through the garage. I walked into the kitchen and heard her on the phone in the living room. Her voice was sharp and impatient. I stopped and listened. She was talking to someone, not Corinne, and she was saying she won't stop crying. I put her in her room an hour ago and told her to stay there until she stops. I walked in. Corinne was sitting alone in her room with the door closed, red-faced, tears on her cheeks, holding her stuffed rabbit. She looked at me and said, Daddy, I wasn't allowed to come out. I asked her what happened. She said she'd asked Alyssa for a snack, and Alyssa told her to be quiet. When she asked again, Alyssa yelled at her and told her to go to her room. She'd been in there for over an hour. I went back to the living room. Alyssa was off the phone and already straightening cushions like nothing was wrong. I asked her why my daughter was locked in her room crying. She said Corinne was having a tantrum, and she was giving her space to calm down. I asked her if giving her space meant shutting a 4-year-old in a room alone for over an hour with no snack and no check-in. She said kids need boundaries. I told her she was done. She started to argue. I told her to get her things and leave. After she left, I went back to the app. I pulled up every Alyssa day for the past 3 months. Scared and loud, every single time. Sometimes starting within 30 minutes of her arriving. Pimento had been telling me for months that something was wrong in this house on the days I wasn't here. I sat on the floor next to the button board. Pimento walked over, pressed mad, looked at me, and then climbed into my lap, which he almost never does. Danielle came home that night, and I told her everything. She held Corinne for a long time without letting go. Then she looked at Pimento and said, I take back every single thing I said about those buttons. Corinne has a new babysitter now. She's a retired kindergarten teacher from our neighborhood. On her first day, Pimento pressed play twice, and then fell asleep on the couch. The button board stays.